Hey guys, it's Channel Couch Co-op here. We're doing a little special here. We're doing something different. We're going to talk about a TV show actually, but a series also. Today we're going to talk about Star Wars and the TV show Mandalorian. It's something, Grim and I have a lot of past with. As you can see, your boy here is the force behind the cooking stove and stuff. So
I left my stuff at home, oddly enough.
And so this is some of my stuff. I'll be honest, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I don't have a lot of collectibles. It's just kind of one of those things that I just kind of like see something dumb and I have to get it. But yeah, anyway, I'll get into this stuff later. But yeah, we'll go into some Star Wars and about the history with our experience of it, but go on to Grim here.
Okay, so yeah, like you said, we're talking about Mandalorian, more specifically the Star Wars franchise, if you will. Basically, for me, Star Wars started probably around 6 to 5 or even younger. I remember specifically going to, Blockbuster Video or the local video store, and my father being like, "Oh, you should watch this movie." I'm like, "What is this?" It's like Star Wars, and at the time I was petrified about war, and I thought battles were bad, and stuff like that. And it's like, no, just give it a try. And so we watched.
He came from China. Hey.
So, we basically with A New Hope, we watched it. And, it was pretty interesting. Blasters and lightsabers, and then the next week we were like, oh, let's check out Empire Strikes Back, and so we definitely. Me and my brother just kind of fell in love with the series, and then the tipping point after that was in the mid-90s when George Lucas remastered / did a whole bunch of things that didn't make sense in the movies, but it was cool to see it in the theaters. Fell in love with the series again, started buying up as many toys as possible, buying lightsabers, the aircrafts for I think it was either Kenner or Hasbro or whatever name it was at that point that had the licensing. And then just...
It was Hasbro.
Was it Hasbro at that time?
I'll throw it up there probably.
I think Hasbro was definitely for episode 1. And then the continuation when Lucas was like, I can still make good Star Wars movies. And then episode 1 came out, but the toy line came out before it. And I remember there was a kiosk in our local mall, and each of the figures were only 99 cents, and at the time I had a little extra money. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to buy these for myself, and I bought as many as I could, and I thought they would be worth something because my father told me how the original Star Wars characters were worth money. I was horribly mistaken.
I don't even know, but yeah, I collected them as well.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of memories there, and then as I got older, collecting toys... we still do, but there's so many characters in the universe, and there's so many different lines. It kind of got expensive and even repetitive.
Well, it's a moneymaker, right? It's a merchandise show for sure. I mean, it's famously George Lucas held all licensing rights for the toys back in the day.
Yeah,
and he made a ton of money, billions, I think.
Yeah, so
it was ridiculous.
In terms of that, collecting toys or even models or figures at this point, not something huge I do, but what I do now is specifically collect autographs. May they be from opening cards, which I kind of have a problem with at times, buying cards and opening packs and the hypothetical gambling that's involved in that, and then just going to conventions and meeting stars and getting their autographs. I don't have them here, but I promise in the next Star Wars game that we talk about, or even maybe even the next video for Mandalorian, I'll bring out the autographs that I have. And I have a couple of personal highlights, and unfortunately a lot of them that I have passed away. My prized one is Carrie Fisher, so I can show that to y'all when time permits. But that's kind of how Star Wars kind of grew up with me. I assume... like I said, if we talk about more games and more episodes, I can elaborate more. But go ahead, Chase. What are your personal experiences?
Shout out to my mother. She was the one that introduced me to Star Wars, actually. It was kind of one of those things. She always kind of teased Darth Vader. That was like the big one. So as kids, we were always kind of interested by it. It was one of those things. We didn't have the videos, but we borrowed it from people, and we eventually saw like the series and stuff like that. And I always loved it, just all the characters. And when they re-released the movies, in '97, I think. That's when we just like went nuts into it. My mom bought us all the toys. I had all the main characters, like all of them. I had Yoda, which was really hard to find, and he came in like a little sack thing that Luke wore in Dagobah.
I actually bought that at a Comic-Con for $2 in 2004, the '96.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I have that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
still in box though?
No.
Mine is still in box.
One up.
Still a collectible.
So, well, mine, I don't even know. We had some friends come over one time, and it's actually devastating to me because I love them. They're great people, the Whites. But their kids came over and they played with all my toys, my brother and I's toys from when we were kids. Lost all of the weapons to like a lot of our toys. I was really devastated by that. But anyway, yeah, I had all of them. I literally had all the main characters. I had all of the bounty hunters, IG-88 I was obsessed with. I actually read some of the books. The Tales from Jabba's Palace, loved that one. I kind of told you the tale of how Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit. It told you about IG-88.
It's very topical, leaving the Sarlacc pit, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. It's not canon, I guess, anymore. But, which we'll get into. But yeah, anyway, so got into it. I guess I'll kind of like breeze through a little bit. You know, Star Wars was one of those things. Like when the prequels came out, I was super jazzed about the first film. Kind of lost a little steam with me.
Yeah.
The second film really made me lose all hope.
So the
Clone Wars was not Clone Wars.
So there was a new hope, but the hope was lost on episode 2.
Yeah. Gone completely. I was just like, George, what are you doing? Oy. The acting was terrible. But anyway.
Portman didn't do bad.
Sadly, I did not see episode 3 in theater. I hate to say this. As a fan, I was so depressed after the second film that I was just kind of like, I don't know if the third one could really do it for me. And then it just so happens that it's the best one out of all the prequels, in my opinion.
I can only assume because it is Moneymaker, they will re-release 3. Like, they'll probably do a remastered in like 5 years of 1, 2, and 3.
Well, right now, actually, on this thing, it's actually the best quality of all of the prequel films, of all of the films, I guess.
That's better than the Laserdisc? I heard the Laserdisc was like the best thing ever for the longest time.
Well, it's the unedited one. Actually, it's super expensive because it's the only best video quality of the unedited version that Lucas redid in 96 or 97.
Okay.
So anyway, but yeah. So yeah, I guess moving on. We have different stuff. I have all the Super Star Wars games. This is the Japanese Star Wars. That's actually better than the American one, where Darth Vader turns into a scorpion.
Really?
Yes. So we'll eventually get into this one, but this is a complete in-box. This game's so ridiculous, but it's beautiful.
Oh wow. Metallic blue cartridge. That's pretty awesome.
Indeed. So it has the instruction manual from Japan. eBay, baby. And so yeah, anyway, this is a little pride and joy for me. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But yeah, the cartridge, is metallic blue. So, and yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So that's that. And yeah, so we'll go into Mandalorian. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably talk about this here. So this is an Empire Strikes Back clock that came out in 1980 by Bradley, excuse me.
So it's something that's actually older than both of us.
Yeah, it is actually by 4 years, maybe a little longer. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so this thing actually plays a song. I will do it for you, or attempt to. Excuse me, I gotta change the hour. So it plays a...
What Arthur D2 is saying is that you have to get up right away. R2, you shouldn't be so polite. This little rebel is going to be late.
So yeah, anyway, there's a few things on there, but it loops.
I must say, even in an alarm clock for fashion, C-3PO ruins the party every time.
Yeah, it truly does. so polite and like eloquent and
Yeah,
stuff.
but he's telling you to wake up. Who actually wants to like wake up when you need to wake up?
You don't want to wake up to C-3PO, but I do every day, I guess. You know, I get so angry, I'm like, God damn it. No, anyway. So yeah, and then after my clock here, guys, you've probably seen it in the other videos behind Venom in my record player. But yeah, I do have the original theatrical release, thanks to my ex-wife. But she bought me it for my birthday one time, but it's the original 1977 Star Wars poster.
It's pretty awesome. Like, I do look at it every time I kind of walk in and kind of...
Yeah. It's probably my pride and joy, but believe it or not, all those movie posters that you see in that room are actual theatrical release movie posters.
That's awesome.
Original ones, too. So, the Star Wars one's probably the most expensive, but my pride and joy is the Ghostbuster one. Mm-hmm. That one actually is the rarest Ghostbuster American poster that you could get.
Oddly enough,
one day I'll show it that.
I own 2 movie posters. One being American Wedding from the American Pie series, and then the other one being Scott Pilgrim from our mutual friend.
Really?
Yeah, I got it from him. But
yeah, anyway.
So Mandalorian season 1, we're just gonna touch upon it before we hop into the current new episodes. Honestly, didn't really know what to expect. We knew it was in regards to a Mandalorian. We didn't know a whole lot about it. We heard speculations, this and that. But
for me, it was I had a little bit of hope because Jon Favreau is a big. To me, he's really good at what he does.
Yes.
And I haven't seen anything that he's directed or directed. I guess I can't say produced.
Yeah.
But anything that he's directed has been pretty good. You know, right. The only thing that I've seen of his lately, Lion King, was literally the cartoon remade, essentially, which I don't hate. And I like that they actually got black voice actors too. That's kind of nice.
I probably, unfortunately,
I felt rehashed a little.
For me, at least for Lion King, I think with the magnitude of Disney movies as we were growing up, and just having that kind of special place in the heart of like Aladdin and Lion King and those particular movies, it was so hard to live up to. Like, visually it was spectacular and was very entertaining. Yeah. But that's for a different movie or different video.
Yeah, we're deep dive in here.
The thing is with Mandalorian, like with what we expected and things like
Jon Favreau, good guy.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau, excuse me. I always want to add an extra syllable in there.
With this project of his, like, didn't really know, for me at least, know what to expect. I try to stay off the internet. I'm not a big spoiler person.
I actually know a little bit of history with this. It was actually something that he kind of pitched towards them.
Okay.
Because I guess he's kind of stepping away from the Marvel movies outside of playing Happy.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, look, how about we do something about the Mandalorian, a Mandalorian bounty hunter like Boba Fett, but it's not Boba Fett, it's its own character. And he actually had the idea behind Baby Yoda.
The child.
Yes, and like basically introducing that into this universe.
Interesting.
And I guess, what's her name? I know Kennedy, but I can't remember her first name, unfortunately. But
Kathleen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not that I like her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, like I said, for me, I stay away a lot of spoilers. I like to see and get the kind of the raw emotion and just kind of take everything in. So watching The Mandalorian, it was something that was fresh, it was exciting, it was new. And oddly enough, just like for me, every time I watch any Star Wars movie or what have you, when it's not, part of a line of stories that you know what's going to happen. So like 1, 2, and 3, exciting. It was cool seeing new characters and things like that, but you knew what was going to happen. Like Rogue One, and then on top of that, episode 7, 8, 9, you didn't really know everything that was going to happen. And that appeal is great for me because of the excitement and just the energy. And I admit, I'm a total fanboy when it comes to multiple things that I like.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think you do things, predictably, but as long as you do them well, I guess. Like, let's be real here. Supposedly, Star Wars was based heavily off of, John Carter, the Princess of Mars and stuff like that. But heavily influenced by that. Also, Westerns was a big one, and then also Eastern culture with the samurai.
Yep.
Jedi, obviously, are big samurai influence. But, it's just one of those things where I believe, oh yeah, the Man with No Name is a big one with the Mandalorian. That's a big influence in the show. It's, Grim here has not really watched them. I've watched them. They're not great. I don't know. I shouldn't say they're not great. If you could do with Westerns, slow moving Western, it's a good film. I'm okay with it. It's not
like
gonna
Tombstone or whatever.
No, Tombstone's great. I love Tombstone. For the record, Tombstone is a freaking. It's probably my favorite Western.
It's not Wild Wild West.
Oh God. The only best part of that film is that woman's butt shown. No. What? She was Asian. Oh. Remember, she puts her skirt up for a split second, and you see her butt in a thong.
Oh.
Anyway, I'll put her up there. Anyway, thank God for that butt, because
Westerns.
And Wild Wild West.
Oh my.
West indeed. No, East. Anyway, so Tombstone. That's a good movie. Doc Holliday. Val Kilmer is one of the best goddamn characters in film history. Anyway, but Hostiles. I'm gonna do a shout out to that film. I don't know if it's necessarily Western, but it's a good one. That's recent. Anyway, so heavily influenced by Westerns. The thing I loved about the first season was they introduced the IG unit, which is one of my favorite characters. Like I said earlier, IG-88. I read the story behind him, and there was IG-88 A, B, C, and D. I believe there was 4 of them. B fought Dash Rendar.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Shadows of Empire.
Yeah. Believe it or not, damn. He actually has better Star Wars name knowledge than I do, and it kind of depressed me. I didn't realize it until now. I thought I was decent. I guess I'm not. Anyway.
You suck. No
Yeah. Good, bruh. Anyway, it was, I know all about it, like the IG-88 story. Actually, IG-88 uploads himself into the second Death Star.
Oh.
And he dies with it when it explodes.
Interesting.
Yeah, he actually locks the Emperor in his chambers for a little bit to tease him. But anyway, funny stories.
A couple, I guess, last little moments in terms of just impressions of season 1. I mean, there were multiple times where my jaw actually dropped. Without seeing or hearing anything prior, and then seeing the child, my jaw dropped. Seeing how IG-11 in season 1 self-destructed. Also, before this point, we should put a spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched it. Though the statute of limitation, it's been out for like a year or so. So
yeah, a year.
Whatever. But even for a season 2 episode or 1, spoiler alerts.
Well, not yet. Let's get into season 1. I do want to add a few things, I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, the last thing is in terms of this jaw-dropping moments is just watching just some of the things that you probably really, really wanted to see with the Mandalorian lifestyle, but it actually come true in the series. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking I'm marinating on that. But yeah, I guess with with what I liked about it was kind of what I liked about the original Star Wars was you felt like you were in a huge universe, but it was on a small scale. It was really brought down. You had a small level of characters. Think about the first film. You had basically one bad guy, which was Darth Vader. The Emperor was always kind of in the background.
Sure.
Okay? And then your heroes. You generally only had the 3 main people. Chewbacca, debatably, 4th. Now, I hate to say this, and I don't want to be pet racist or animal racist. I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
Pete is going to call us.
Yeah. But yeah. Pete. Okay. So
pet racism was what you left off on.
Yeah, pet racism. Pet racism. So yeah, but anyway, the original film had only, it was Han, Luke, and Leia. And with this, I feel like they're scaling it back, where it's basically the child and Din Djarin, excuse me. So I always want to go the other way around for some reason, Din Djarin, because of the D and whatever.
Yeah.
The D is silent. Anyway, I filled in Grim on that earlier. He never watched Django.
No, I watched it. I just didn't. I don't remember that quote. I actually own it on Blu-ray.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you don't watch a lot of
I can say that there are a large portion of my DVD Blu-ray collection that may be in cellophane still.
That's what I love about this guy. Anyway, so anyway, the first season really good. I liked how each episode was kind of standalone a little bit, episodic, where, it was a different job. And, I liked that. I will admit, I do believe that it was kind of nicer that they made it a little more cohesive at the end.
Sure.
Where everything kind of tied in together with the, the guild.
Yes.
And, so yeah.
You didn't mention your girl in season 1.
Oh, Gina Carano.
Yes. That was a bullet point. I said, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. That is a strong bullet point. Ba-bing! Gina Carano, I've always been a fan. Watched her in American Gladiator. I was filling in Grim about all of it earlier, and I was saying, she was so hot with her long bob cut thing on one side, emo. I don't know, but yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Call me sometime, girl. I'm single.
So I mean, clearly, like with just reflection in a very condensed amount of time, like. It was really well put together. Each episode was entertaining, and then there's a lot of layers because not only did you have the storyline, but you had people who were guest starring or stars that
Bill Burr,
Bill Burr, Ming-Na Wen was in it, and just a plethora of people that were in the show and you didn't even know. So it's one of the great things about this show, but. The
makeup. Well, what was it? Horatio Sands was in the first episode, SNL fame.
Yeah.
I love Horatio Sands. I think he's hilarious. And then, what was the other one? Oh, it's in season 2. Never mind, we'll get to that.
Well, I mean, even still, you had, I think his name was Gus Fring in the Breaking Bad, right? Was it Gus Fring?
I didn't watch Breaking Bad.
What? We'll get to that later. Anyways, so yeah,
it's too much of a commitment, damn it.
Okay. Anyways.
7 seasons, damn it. That's so long, and they're an hour long a piece, right? Or 40-some minutes.
Yeah, it goes by quick. Anyways, because I'm sure that we can break down so many different series at this point. But moving into season 2, episode 1 of The Mandalorian, which is actually called The Marshal. Is the title.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll probably just go back and forth. In terms of just talking about it, a lot of anticipation.
Well, I guess let me ask you this.
Sure.
What was your favorite thing of season 1 before we move into this?
I've always loved Yoda as a character, and so that first moment that we met the child, unfortunately, bought me in. Even though it was episode 1, 46.5 minutes in or whatever the runtime was, when I saw the child, I'm like, oh my god! And I had 1.5 million questions, and it's probably 5 or 6 other episodes left on a cliffhanger, and you're like, what? And so, in terms of that, in my head, I thought it was a clone of Yoda.
Oh, well, I thought it was I believed it was a child of the race. I didn't think it was a clone, but to me, I mean, that's the obvious choice, I guess, and I'm not hating, obviously, but for me, it was Gina Carano. that sexy military outfit. Not that, really. More of like the American Gladiator outfit. But anyway, I digress. I mean IG. I like the IG-11. I'm a big Tika Waititi.
Tika Waititi, yes.
Tika Waititi, sorry. No disrespect. I think you do great things. And, the voice acting for that and just the comedy between him and the Mandalorian in the first episode and then the last one.
Yeah.
I thought it was great how it changed. You know, he got reprogrammed and became a bodyguard.
I think it was very interesting that because in the original Star Wars Episode 5, the extent of the IG unit is it was a stationary unit. It moved its head maybe a little bit, and the eyes are red. To literally see it do the guns out and the spin while shooting.
Yeah, like how mobile it was ridiculous.
It was a very entertaining sight. And
well, the thing that was great was if you read the Legends books, like they're notoriously
reading. What's reading?
Yeah, this guy. I read. Believe it or not, I read. Don't let the tattoos and playing video games and watching movies judge you.
Oh, nowadays,
judge me. Judge something. I don't know.
I mean, nowadays, I think text-based in terms of video games is probably up there. So it's a lot more developed than side-scrolling Super Mario Brothers. Like even with the story.
Oh, you mean like with a yeah.
In general, with reading.
I guess.
Joking aside, I'm not a huge reader, but I do read. But go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I read a bit, but I'm not a bookworm, but I read some. But anyway, I read the Thrawn trilogy, which you need to read.
That I heard is amazing.
You can borrow it. I own the first editions of all 3 copies, brother.
I'm an outlaw. We're gonna draw something you never seen before. And I hear a motherfucker that come in my face. I got.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, motherfucker. I'll grab him. All right. So. It was funny because I was sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, I thought I didn't have a lot of Star Wars collectibles, but yeah, I'm like remembering slowly here. So this is the Thrawn trilogy, and so yeah, like I said, I have the first edition of all of them. I have the actual old slipcases and everything, but I read them in their entirety.
Yeah.
You remember that. He actually got this for me. But, yeah, anyway, I'm trying to find the edition page. There it is. Bada bing. So, anywho.
Just take a picture of the superimposing.
Yeah. There it is. But yeah, anywho, so they're all like that. I won't waste our time doing it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of highlights from this show, and I would say honestly, like if you ever watch the show and you're watching us now yammer on about it in the comments, include your favorite moment, and we can kind of reminisce about those particularly great high points. Yeah, but we're gonna move on to season 2 now with episode 1. Like I said, the Marshal. There's a lot of things that you can talk about it. I've read up on I've read up on a lot of hypothetical things that have come out of the speculation corner and things of that sort parts of the internet, and then on top of that, just watching some videos also about this information. But even just the beginning of the episode where the Mandalorian goes into the fighting ring on that planet, you had 2 Gamorrean guards, which would.
Well, we should start. Was that at the beginning? Was that at the beginning? No. Well, we basically get them walking in with the child.
Yep.
And then he goes and meets the one-eyed man.
Which is at the Gamorrean fight.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So with the Gamorrean fight, we noticed that they're a lot sleeker and slimmer than the ones at Jabba's palace.
He pointed this out.
Like Jabba's palace guys had a nice beer belly on it and just looking way out of shape.
Which makes sense when you think about it, because Jabba's guys are probably a little lazier. They're just sitting around, and these guys are fighters.
Right. They're partying him up at Jabba's palace. So with that said, I mean, like you had a battle scene with the vibrating sword. I don't remember what it is. Shaped up there.
I will throw it up there. It's not the vibrating sword.
Well, yes,
he makes it sound like a sex toy.
Yes.
But it's not. I forget what that got. It's like it's a dagger.
Sure.
It's a dagger, but I forget what it's like. The vibranium dagger.
But
that vibranium's.
Vibranium is what they use.
Captain America.
Yeah, that's their Marvel Cinematic Universe equivalent of adamantium at that point.
Yeah, right. Milk the cow, because you can't use
adamantium. But yeah, I mean, there's a nice fight scene. We saw the whistling cricket again, that weapon, which was pretty badass in my opinion. And then, it kind of leads and sets the pace of the episode where he needs to now return to Tatooine to meet a Mandalorian. And in our experience, if you're only with the cinematic universe of Star Wars and then whatever have you, the only Mandalorian that we're aware of to be on Tatooine is
Boba.
So
the Fett. So, like, you know, here's my thing. Like, you know, I was a little depressed that they went back to Tatooine, I won't lie. Only because I kind of feel like they've treaded a lot in that planet. And I kind of feel like Star Wars is so massive that why do you need to kind of stick to one planet? Was Gina Carano's character, she wasn't on Tatooine, right?
No.
Okay. So yeah, anyway, but like I don't know, but they did it well. I guess what my point is at least they did it well. Yes, it's Tatooine. Yes, he went back to Mos Eisley. Like they fresh. Oh, go ahead.
Your character, Ms. Carano, she was originally a trooper, right? A shock trooper?
Well, for the rebellion.
I think she was part of the Imperials.
No.
You know, it kind of led us to where we're going in terms of Tatooine, and understandably, they recycle a lot of the planets at times in the universe.
I mean, look, like you could do it as long as you do it well. Right. You pay enough homage, but at the same time, you go your own path, and I think they did that in this episode pretty well, actually. Right. They created their own town. They created two, I guess. Right. When you think about it.
Well, most Espa and most Aldo.
Paulo? Is it Apollo?
Most Pelgo.
Pelgo. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that kind of leads into like the transition phase. You know, you got a bit of old reflection and drawing back to season 1, and now he's taking a speeder to.
Which is good, because I guess when you truly think about it, like the previous episodes reflect back always on other planets, which is kind of nice. Good.
Honestly, the highlight for me, as ridiculous as it sounds, is in the docking bay, this R2 unit drives through, and it's R5D4 from the original episode 4, and it's the one that has a bad motivator. And I know that sounds like the most ludicrous thing to be happy to see, but in the...
It tingled his jingle berries.
Not to that extent, but when the re-release happened...
Nostalgia berries?
Take me right into nostalgia berries.
Hey, good God, you're scaring the shit out of me now. Like, stop it.
This is scaring me more than...
Yeah.
Dead Space. But...
Yeah,
the thing is with that R2 unit, when they remastered, or however you want to say it, when I wanted to get figures, I really like droids, and I wanted R2, but the only one that was available on the shelf at the toy store was R5D4.
Of course.
And I'm thinking that was my very first Star Wars character. It was R5D4. And it was cool because, like, you could open up the body of the toy, and there's a spring action.
It looked like, it looks like it was a missile.
And then it shot something out, but that was to demonstrate the bad motivator that it had, but thought it was the coolest thing ever. So happy to see it. And then that's what it gave the schematics to go to Mos Pelgo.
You want to hear something funny? Was there was a Wizard magazine back in the day.
I have many of them.
And in the back, they used to have a collectibles section where it was cards and action figures.
The pricing, like a packet.
Yep, basically. And so they had this one section, obviously, for the 97 Star Wars. Oh. And they had R5 there with R2 and C-3PO standing there next to him, but it had R5 having the motivator explode. You know, it was the toy versions of them. And it showed C-3PO and R2 standing there, and it had the caption, "That's what happens when you sneeze with your eyes open."
You should find that picture and throw it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But, you know, that kind of leads us to Mos Pelgo, and the interesting thing is kind of going in and him stopping and talking to Tusken Raiders to get some more information about this land, because it's not very specific where it is, which is interesting. One of the Sand People has a unique trait that I'll talk about later. But then traveling into Mos Pelgo, just the slow crawl coming in just like as you said, I haven't watched a lot of westerns. I've watched Tombstone, of course, but I haven't watched a lot of westerns or spaghetti westerns. But that slow crawl in, and all the people staring at you like you're a foreigner,
an outsider.
Yeah, like like a Chinese person in the UP or something like that.
Yeah. We're downriver.
Yes. So,
well, I was gonna say Ree and I don't know. I was gonna North Side Kalamazoo.
so I mean,
or even Detroit, I guess, some areas.
So yeah, I mean, with that said, there was just you definitely got that environment. You got that kind of that feel when it came to how this scene in this episode was going to go. It definitely drew some references from that.
I mean, there was a lot of spaghetti western references. The fact that there was a bar and like the bartender knew everybody. The one thing I do want to shout out to is John Leguizamo, who played Cyclops alien.
Yeah, in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I love John Leguizamo. Good actor. Hear he's a good man.
Luigi for life.
Yeah, that too. Apparently hated it, but
yeah, many people hated it. I don't think anyone but the director liked that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. But anyway, that's a different movie or video. But anyway,
I'd rather watch episode 7, 8, and 9 than Super Mario Brothers.
Really?
Yes.
It's that bad for you?
Yeah.
See, for me, I mean, he's. You're more of a purist, I think.
I can agree to that.
Yeah. So
I want to see an X-Men movie with the original 5.
Well, I want to see an X-Men movie with the blue and the gold team. That would be outstanding. Authentic one, like not bullshit where Nightcrawler has like these scars all over his body. BS.
They were angelic tattoos.
Let me tell you, okay? Bryan Singer is no angel. And those were garbage.
Unfortunately, they brought them back in the other X-Men movie.
Yes, they did. I hated it. Anyway.
But going into Mos Pelgo and then, the Mandalorian doing a little reconnaissance trying to figure out where this Mandalorian is, he goes to the bar, which, as Shapes informed me earlier, the local bartender is like...
the sage of the town, essentially.
Or the person in the hotel that tells you where to go to eat and all that stuff.
Yeah, concierge.
Yeah, concierge. Hospitality industry for life. But in terms of that, you have the bartender be like, we don't have, I don't know what a Mandalorian is. And he's like, I look like me. It's like, do you mean the marshal? And oddly enough, he's just standing in the doorway. And so this is the first moment that you see a Mandalorian that wasn't underground and with his sect or whatever, but also it had the Mandalorian armor of Boba Fett. And it blew me away, but it also, in the same aspect, while looking at him, he looked super anorexic. It looked like he was just...
as soon as I saw him, I knew it wasn't Boba Fett.
I didn't realize it till, unfortunately...
He took his mask off?
Yes, he took his helmet off. When he had the alcohol that I forget the name of, that
gazpacho or something like that.
Gazpacho is cold Mexican tomato soup.
Oh.
I have it somewhere, unfortunately. Beskar the metal.
No,
Spotchka.
See, I was close.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so when he poured those drinks, he took his helmet off, and then that's even when the Mandalorian was just like, "Hey, this is not right." And when the helmet came off, it was what's Mr. Oliphant's name?
Oh yeah,
Timothy Oliphant was the character actor who played him, and so with that. It kind of leads to a whole bunch of other things like...
Which is kind of funny, by the way, I gotta have to say, because he played Justified, where he played a marshal, and then there was another movie where he played a marshal, or some kind of enforcer, I forget, but anyway.
He seems to be typecasted in that.
Yeah, he did, very much so.
Though, I think wasn't he the protagonist in The Girl Next Door?
No.
No?
No, you're thinking of... I'll put it up there.
Yeah, okay.
I could see his face, I just can't think of his name.
Okay. But either way, so yeah, there's, you know, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, who is this guy? How the hell does he have Boba Fett's armor? You know, this is blowing your mind away, because I think a lot of people in our relative generation not only think Boba Fett's one of the best bounty hunters, but best evil villains.
No, I wouldn't say evil villain, just kind of like a badass, you know, outside of the...
Anti-hero?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, he basically...
He's like the Venom of the Star Wars universe.
I noticed this is turning.
Is it because the phone is weighted and tilting the tripod?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I hope not.
I did throw the papers a couple times, but either way.
It doesn't matter.
Anti-hero, Venom, and Mandalorian, and Boba
Well, I'm a big anti-hero fan. Like, I was always a big Boba Fett guy.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
I mean,
even everybody always debates, oh, he never did anything. Bullshit, motherfucker. He followed the famous 3 undetected and was the only one to do so out of all of those goddamn best bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit that, you know, getting discharged his ship through the trash was, you know, quite an interesting process to make sure that he could find the Millennium Falcon that was, oddly enough, attached to the back of the navigation tower.
Yeah.
That you're just like, you have a whole ship right here. There's not one window. It's like, why is it so dark out? I know it's space, but it's dark randomly.
Nah, I could believe it could happen.
Sure.
I mean, sure, I'm sure it happens. Especially, maybe even...
we are talking about a space fantasy world, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
what was it? What was it? Wizard with swords.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
You're a Jedi, Luke. No, I'm trying to quote Harry Potter. But, yeah,
that's out of my realm.
Yeah, so anyways, like, you see an anorexic Boba Fett, and then...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we get to see it's Tim Oliphant.
Yeah.
Oliphant? Something like that.
Oliphant. And then his name is Cobb Vanth in the show.
Cobb, yeah. So, you know, he's pretty good. He plays his typical self. You know, basically kind of puts at a standstill because Mandalorian wants the armor back. I guess we won't go too far into details, but eventually, you know, they end up finding out that there's a big ass fucking graboid from Tremors. I'm gonna throw it up there because this is my favorite goddamn movie from my childhood. One of them, I should say. Love that movie. Kevin Bacon.
Footloose.
Footloose is in. But anyway.
I only know him in Footloose.
Oh, really?
Well, I know him in Tremors.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch Tremors. Have you watched Tremors?
No, I've watched Tremors.
Oh, okay.
The only other movie that I'm aware that Kevin Bacon is in is Footloose.
Dude.
I know there's 7 separations of Kevin Bacon, but...
What is it? Stir of Echoes is another good movie, but you're not a big horror film guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tremor, yeah, graboid for an enemy on this one, except it's massive. Comes in, they decide to team up, go out, end up finding out that the Tusken Raiders are also having issues with this thing. Yeah. And decide to build an unsteady relationship with the Tusken Raiders, trying to get rid of this thing. They end up finding out that it's a lot bigger than they think.
Right.
And they need a lot more people. They need to team up and use the people within the town. However, the people from the town are upset because the Tusken Raiders have been coming and raiding them and killing some of the people.
So the Tremor / Crate Dragon, as they call it in this show. So, like, as Shapes was talking about, you know, they've created this a pact with them, if you will, and try to devise a plan to kill the Crate Dragon. Even though, on a side note, when traveling to the Crate Dragon lair, the thing that Cobb Vanth is riding looks very eerily similar to Anakin Skywalker's pod racer, or at least part of it.
Well, the jets in front of the pod.
Mm-hmm. And so they devised this plan because they determined that the Tusken Raiders' research is the weak point of a Crate Dragon is the underbelly. So it's just basically trying to blow up the bottom half to expose the weak point and kill it. So they set up a relative trap, and we're kind of looking into like the most feasible way to do it. You know, they bring out really old-looking, archaic Tusken crossbow spears.
Yeah.
And then
something like that.
Have all these type of explosive charges, and they devise a plan. So that's one of the highlights is watching this plan develop.
I mean, for me, a lot of it was the special effects. I'll admit. I mean, to me, this episode was really cool and how they cooperated. They came together. It showed that you could put differences aside. I think that's something that this world needs right now.
What are you ever talking about?
Is like, look, we have a common enemy here. Let's get together.
To reference, it's November 5th, and that's what we're alluding to.
Yeah. So, we're all in this together, I guess. So, my point is, it was great to see that they came together. The Tusken Raiders came together, even, Din Djarin, and how he was able to bridge the gap,
right,
which was great.
I mean, there's interesting parts in this battle where, it looks like they kind of have him on the ropes, if you will, but then all of a sudden it uses a different type of attack, which you say it's its bile. I think it may be an acid spit, but bile makes a lot more sense after listening to this, where it literally liquefies.
It looks like it pukes it up,
right.
So that's why I think it's bile.
Yeah, so literally melts many Tusken Raiders, which when I watched it again, I noticed that the only people that died were Tusken Raiders.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of humans. There was one shot, I saw it, where there was a couple of humans mixed in with the Tusken Raiders.
I was like,
but most of them were Tusken Raiders.
Like, it's bad enough you're sacrificing the Banthas.
Disney. Wait, we're going to put the black guy way down here in the poster.
Oh, mercy.
Anyway. Disney, god damn it, get your shit together. Anyway, my point is, it was a great episode. We loved how they improvised. There was the close to the vest move by Din Djarin, of course, the Mandalorian, where he took the bantha and with a bunch of strapped to the nines with explosives and made him eat them.
And the other thing is that he took his weapon and hit the jetpack of Cobb Vanth, just like Han Solo did, where he flew off.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
and then like the Krayt Dragon eats the Mandalorian and the Bantha, and then you're like, did he die?
Of
what
course
the hell happened?
The show would end.
Yes. And then all of a sudden, Krayt Dragon comes out. Mandalorian flies out with his jetpack. He's using his weapon clearly to get out of it, and then uses the
thing I question. Now, I'm not questioning Beskar armor can't withstand that bile, but the fact that he's not covered head to toe with Beskar was something that I kind of had a bit of an issue with.
Well, and that's one of the story points that a lot of fans who love Star Wars are having an issue with, because technically, Boba Fett is not a Mandalorian. His father, Jango, which he's a clone of, was a Mandalorian, but got kicked out of the Mandalorian ranks. And so they believe that his armor, and I don't know the exact term of it, but it's not Beskar. So Beskar is the strong substance.
Theoretically.
Yes, that allows...
I did look this up prior.
Yeah.
They don't know. It's pretty unclear at the moment as to what Boba Fett really is. I think they're going to retcon it, obviously. Sure. I think that's what this is all setting up to.
Sure.
But it seems like Boba Fett's history right now is pretty in flux.
Yeah.
And they're looking to correct it, from what I can gather prior to this video.
Right.
So, yeah. I think it's going to be...
We'll find out in an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Anyway. So, yeah, it's just... No, it's 9 a.m.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That sucks.
Eastern. So, yeah, anyway. But, yeah, I think... It'll be interesting to see what they do with Boba Fett.
Right.
Because you get the tease at the end.
Yeah, so basically, he kills the Krayt Dragon. Cobb Vanth gives the armor to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian still doesn't know... he realizes that this Mandalorian that was seen is not a Mandalorian. So his journey continues. So he straps the armor, a big chunk of meat on the back of his speeder with the child, and flies off as the Tusken Raiders find this gigantic Krayt Dragon pearl, which, again, a Tatooine native goes into an animal and finds something. Like the Jawas found that orange egg thing out of that rhinoceros thing in the season 1.
No, they took it from it.
Oh, it was its eggs.
Yeah.
But even
it
still,
was the hairy egg.
Even still, it's them taking something over out of a creature.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because the thing I liked about it is they didn't explain it, which I do like at times if they do it well.
It drives me crazy.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. I like that the fact that they took it out and they were like, and like it was not explained at all. It was like, oh, apparently it's something extremely valuable to them. I don't know what the fuck it is. It looks like it could be an egg, perhaps, or a pearl.
Well, it makes sense with the pearl because if you think about an oyster and then sand going inside the oyster creates a pearl, it's a crate dragon that lives on the deserts of Tatooine. So there's a feasibility that it could be a pearl.
Yeah.
Now, will we know what the hell happens? No, unless they want to include it in the next episode. Or
Do I care enough is the question, and my answer is no.
I must know everything.
Yeah. Well, like, it was good ending. At the end we get what I assume is actually Boba Fett.
Yeah. So there's the Mandalorian traveling on the speeder back to the hangar bay to try to figure out where he needs to go next to continue his journey of getting the child. Because the main reason he's there is he needs to get his child. He's been tasked to get this child back to his kind, which would be at this point either Force sensitive people or his race, depending on what's going on. And as they fly
he thinks it's his race mostly.
Yeah. As they fly by,
until we find Ahsoka,
there's a shadowy figure, and the shadowy figure has a Tuscan club. I forgot the name. He'll throw it up there, which is also used as a toothbrush in the episode, which I found really weird. And then,
I'd say it was probably more of a toothpick.
Yeah. And then a rifle, and then the turnaround is the original actor of Jango Fett with a scar on the face, and we are led to believe, like Shaf said, it's Boba Fett. There are speculations that it could be Captain Rex or one of the clones, but because it's a clone, the clones have a elevated life cycle, so there's a lot of that going on. So
I'm pretty sure it's Boba Fett, only for the fact that the armor of Boba Fett was what I believe to be the thing that I love that they did is they made the paint of the armor look like it got like basically kind of like acidically deteriorated basically, which I thought was a nice touch. So, and then on top of it, you don't really know what happened to him while he was in there. Like Sarlacc digests for 1,000 years, so yeah, granted a person wouldn't live that long, but in my research prior to this, apparently Sarlacc absorbs the consciousness of the person they eat.
Provided this is still continuity, because that particular site could be the old lure, unfortunately.
That's true.
But
and like the thing that was cool to me was the Sarlaccs are huge. And like in the show they're like, not unless it killed it. And it's like I went online and like Grim said, it could be changed, of course, but the Sarlaccs are massive.
Right.
And if this, crate dragon was any piece of it, I don't know how the hell it did it.
Yeah. So basically now we have the end of episode 1. So now our questions are, what's going to happen next? Clearly, they wouldn't have showed Boba without any type of him maybe trying to get the armor or making any type of content.
He's coming back for sure.
So there's that. There's many rumors on the internet where because Rosario Dawson was cast as Ahsoka, so that's a huge thing that could happen.
Apparently she's fallen out of the Force or something like that.
On top of that, there's rumors that some of the spray paint in the first scene has a different Mandalorian, Cad Bane, I think is the name. There's maybe some scribblings on there that could be that, because you're trying to find a Mandalorian, you're trying to find something else, and to what we know from the cartoon, this particular Mandalorian is still alive.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that. In terms of
well, and the thing that's interesting too is we have the Darksaber, which hasn't been revisited yet either. So
with that said, and what I was going to finish on is in spaghetti westerns and even westerns, not only is there a slow draw scene where it's eye to eye face off, there's sometimes it's a triangle where it's 3 parties and it's looking like the Mandalorian and the child. The Darksaber gentleman, I forget his name, we'll throw it up there.
Moff Gideon, I think.
Very good, Moff Gideon. And then either Boba or Ahsoka or this other Mandalorian.
Well, even the sniper, because she lived, didn't she?
We don't know yet because and that's the other thing. People are thinking that the end scene of that, where somebody walks up to Ming-Na Wen's character, was actually Boba Fett, who walked up, because they're both bounty hunters. So with that said, there is literally multiple directions that this can go, and you're kind of left off on a high point, like you are a lot of times in season 1.
But that's good. The hype train.
Let's just hope that they don't ruin or squander an opportunity, which a lot of TV shows and movies and things do.
Well, in all honesty, I think it's in good hands at the moment.
At the moment, yes.
I think it's in good hands. I think Jon Favreau is doing good things. In my opinion, I don't think they've made anything less than okay. I would even say good.
Yeah.
There's ones where it's a bit of a lull, but the ones that are like great, I'm like, holy crap, Star Wars, I'm back, baby. But then I see, episode 9, and I'm like, oh, good God.
Have you seen that one video where, I think you're the one who told me about it, I'm not sure, where when Rey crosses the sabers into the X format.
Yeah.
It matches
X gonna give it to you.
It matches the tempo of that song, which is hilarious. But, we have, at least 7 more episodes. We have a lot of fun doing videos like this just because we're passionate about this topic.
Well, Star Wars to me is a love-hate relationship.
Sure.
It's a one that I love the old stuff when they do it right. Holy crap. Or even the new stuff, even. Mandalorian, in my opinion, is the good stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and you can definitely hate a lot of the new stuff.
Oh, dear God. Force Awakens, mediocre.
Well,
and then after that, it was just like, fuck it.
Here, this is what we'll have for you. So if you enjoyed this particular video, I know it's different from us actually playing video games, which we love also.
Oh, yeah.
We want to get your opinion, the viewers. Definitely please subscribe, please like, please comment. We want to talk about this episode and see other viewpoints or even things that we may have gotten wrong.
We're open to debate.
Yeah.
Always.
And I think it would be great one time to just discuss this particular episode of this series. So if you enjoyed it, encourage us for more with a like and a subscription, or even a comment on what you would have in mind or questions and topics to talk about. We're thinking about definitely making this into a type of weekly series. So
we definitely brought it up before.
Yeah.
We finally did it. I think this was a good shoehorn in.
So comment, enjoy, subscribe. Thank you so much, and have a great week.
Yeah, take care, guys.
Bye.
Later.